Hi, I'm Nils Schneider. Welcome to KartTV. Today I'm going to show you one of my spring favorites, which is a salmon fillet with Bernaise sauce and market vegetables. So for starters, I want you guys to pull out your salmon fillets, and what we're going to do is we're just going to allow them to gently come up to room temperature. What we're going to do is we're going to start with our hollandaise reduction. Alright, to start our reduction, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our shallot, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to thinly slice it into nice little rings. We're going to just heat a tiny bit of cooking oil up in a small pot. We're just going to add our shallots in, and we want to just gently sweat our shallots just till they're a little translucent. And then once we're at this stage, we're just going to deglaze with our white wine. Now we're going to reduce our white wine down, probably all the way to about 1/10 of what the amount was originally. We don't want to add our vinegar too soon because then it can get very pungent and very strong. Alright, so now that we've reduced our wine, what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of our vinegar. So we'll just do a couple drops. Okay, nothing too crazy. And then just to enhance that tarragon flavor, we're going to just add a little bit of this dried tarragon. Okay. Alright, so now that your reduction is done, we're going to just strain all of the ingredients out, and we just want to reserve the liquid, okay? So now that we've done our reduction, we've strained it, we're just going to put this to the side for now. Today we're just going to go over a few vegetables that I chose, and we'll put those together and process them. So I'm just going to do something called a paysan cut. And what we're going to do is we're just going to rotate as we go. So I'm going to grab some of this yellow zucchini, which is really nice. So something like broccolini or broccoli or cauliflower, you can kind of cut on a bias just like this. And then I'm also just going to grab some of these tomatoes, and then we'll just blister these tomatoes as we go. I also just had some frozen peas, and we'll fold that into the mix too. So firstly, what I like to do is I like to add in my broccoli. Now I go right into a dry pan and just add a little bit of water. Okay. Now we're gonna put that on a medium-high heat, and then we're gonna throw a lid on it. And we're gonna check that in about 2 minutes, and it should be where we want it. Okay, so now that our broccoli is where we want it, we're just going to remove it from the pan and put it to the side, okay? Now we're gonna bring that same pan back up, and we're gonna add in a little bit of our cooking oil. And then we're gonna introduce our zucchini. So we're gonna add in our green first, and we're gonna cook that for about a minute, and then we're gonna introduce our yellow zucchini, okay? Okay, so now that we've got our green zucchini started, we're gonna add in our yellow. So now that we're starting to look a little golden brown on our zucchini, we're going to incorporate our tomatoes, and we just want to blister the tomatoes. Once they start to crackle and explode, that's when you know they're almost done. Now at the final steps of the cook time, we're just going to add a little bit of black pepper, okay, tiny bit of salt, and then we're going to incorporate just probably about a tablespoon of butter, okay? So butter into the pan, we're going to lower the heat all the way down, nice and low. And then we're gonna add our peas. Peas take a very short amount of time to cook. And now that those have been thoroughly cooked through, we're gonna add our broccoli and probably about a quarter's worth of lemon juice. When the veg is finally done cooking, that's when I want you guys to season. So you can add your final stages of salt and just make sure that you're just doing it to taste, okay? All right, so first things first, I want you guys to pull your salmon out to room temp. And then what we're gonna do is we're just going to add a little bit of our oil. And we want to season generously. We're going to do the other side as well. Alright, so for the salmon, what we want to do is we want to get our pan up to a medium-high heat, and we want to add our oil. So we're up nice up to temp here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go skin side down, ever so gently. Now once it's in the pan, I want you guys to lower the heat, and we're just gonna let it sit, okay? We don't want to move it. We don't want to go crazy. What we're going to do is we're just going to ever so gently go around the pan with our spatula. And we're just going to check. We don't want to be scraping or pulling too aggressively. We just want to check the sides and make sure we're not sticking, okay? And you can see that my patience of just not moving the pan has really allowed that skin to lift up without sticking too hard. All right, so now that you can kind of see the salmon is getting cooked almost probably about 1/8 of the way. That's a sign that we want to get ready to flip and baste, okay? I just want you guys to get ready about 1/2 of a lemon and a little knob of butter. And then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna lower the temperature down. We're gonna add a little bit of butter. And then as that's melting down, before it browns, what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our lemon juice, okay? Now we wanna make sure that butter and lemon juice don't touch the fish just yet. We want it in the corner of the pan. We wanna make sure we're doing a nice crispy skin, okay? So now that we've got it flesh side down, our butter's in the pan, we're just gonna do a nice little baste here. I like my salmon a little bit more on the medium rare side. So what I like to do is I just kind of check very gently with my fingers. And it's the same way as kind of checking a steak. If you're not comfortable with it, use a thermometer. There's no shame in that. So now that your salmon's cooked, what I like to do is I like to just lift it onto a nice thick cloth. And what that will do is absorb all that excess fat that you don't really want, as well as let it rest. So when you rest the salmon, it will continue and carry over that cooking. So right now, I've probably got my salmon at like a rare, moving into a medium rare now, okay? All right, so for our hollandaise, what we wanna do is we wanna separate 2 egg yolks. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna add our egg yolks to our bowl. We're gonna go back to that reduction that we made earlier. And we're gonna add just a little bit of it, okay? A little bit goes a long way, and this can keep in the fridge for a very long time. What we're gonna do is we're going to heat up a little bit of water in a small pot, and we just wanna bring that up to a steam, okay? What we're gonna do is we're gonna place our bowl right over top, and then what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hold it on the side, and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna whisk consistently here. And the goal is to make sure that we're not scrambling our eggs, so we can kind of remove it from the heat as we go. And what we want is we want just kind of a nice, smooth, kind of velvety egg yolk. So you can kind of see it's starting to get there. Then you're gonna place the bowl back into this little wrap that I've done. This really allows you to be hands-free while holding that bowl. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab our clarified butter, and ever so slowly we're gonna add little by little. Again, mine is gonna be a little darker. I'm using a brown butter today. We're just gonna add a little bit of this dried tarragon. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of salt here. Whisk that in. And it's good to go. All right, so now we're ready to plate. So we grab our nice little veg medley here. And then we're gonna lift our salmon nice and gentle. We'll just finish with a little bit of salt. And if you're a huge fan of lemon like I am, I just like to add a little bit more lemon zest to finish. All right, this is a fillet of salmon with market veg. I'm Nils Schneider. Thanks for tuning into KartTV, and I'll see you later.